Hello and welcome to another episode of the Principal's Corner here at Jesse Bethel High School at VCAT. It's very exciting. My name is Dr. Ramon Cusi. I'm the principal here. I'm very excited to share with you a wonderful guest that we have today. It's the former Vice Mayor, Council Member, Pippin Dew. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and it's really exciting to have her. I have some questions for her, but first of all, can you just share us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a council member for the city of Vallejo. I was first elected in 2013 and then re-elected in 2018. We have term limits, so I will term out after this, and we'll have to take some time off before I could, if I chose, run again. I have.
Could you run for mayor?
I could run for mayor.
Sorry, I just wanted
to run for a variety of things.
All right, supervisor, all those other things,
yes,
right?
Yes,
wow, it's very exciting.
Yes, and I am single mom. I have 3 daughters, 2 of which I have most of the time, and their ages 5 to 15. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that brings up, having the kids. I know that being a council member, there's a lot of responsibilities, but there's the day job, so to speak.
Yeah. So the day job overlaps with the nighttime job, but I'm a realtor. I've been doing that since 2016 or 2006. I'm sorry, and so much longer than that. And so yeah, it's both jobs are the type of jobs that will take everything you have to give to them and more. So there's always something more that you could do, but they're both very rewarding. They're both based in helping people, and so that's kind of my core, principle as a human being. I just really get a lot of inspiration and motivation and reward, personal reward from helping people. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, getting that satisfaction and getting that reward is something not necessarily monetarily. I hate to share with you, being a council member. Can you please elaborate a little bit more about being a council member and the things that you do? Because I think sometimes there's this misconception out there that you're this person that makes a million decisions and then that's what happens, but there's a lot of things that go into that.
Yeah,
right?
It is a very complex job. And so, the mandatory pieces of that are that we have council meetings the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month, except for August. We go dark for most of August for vacation purposes. And so we have to be at every council meeting. And we're creating policy at those meetings, making decisions on major developments and just regular city business. In addition to that, the mayor makes appointments to a variety of commissions and boards, and so I'm a member of a variety of boards and commissions that I am the liaison to, or I'm actually a board member of, and so those are additional obligations. And then we have our own personal initiatives that we run through the city. And so, just so many different things.
Wow, that's pretty exciting. Can you share with us some recent policy that has been made by our city in regards to things that, would interest our group here at VCAT?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say, there isn't a piece of policy that strikes my mind at the moment, but I will say there's 2 things that I think would be of interest. We just authorized hiring a position that is a youth program and services staff person. So the council has made youth a priority for the last 2 years, but we don't have a dedicated staff person to help us with that initiative, to really expand upon that and have us flesh out what that looks like. So we have done some paid internship positions. It's because of that priority that we're able to send our youth delegation to the National League of Cities, as you're aware of. And there is a whole comprehensive, robust concept that I have been working on that starts from conception to 24 years old, really trying to support our youth in our community so that they can realize their best potential, and it just helps our whole community when our young folks are able to do that. So So that's something that's coming up. The other piece that we have recently approved is authorizing our city staff to negotiate with a developer on our waterfront. So the former dentist office on the waterfront, that's going to, the vision is that's going to be demolished, and we will have a cultural center, an event center, and a restaurant built, new construction right there. So that is in the very early stages of that process, but we're very excited about that potential.
When you say early stages, do you mean like in the next few months or the next few years, the things that we're seeing are going to happen?
Right. So probably wouldn't see groundbreaking for a couple years. I've learned 2 years tends to be the rule of thumb for any project that is, you know, physical construction type projects. And particularly with the waterfront, there's just a lot of regulatory bodies that you have to go through, and complications to construction, such as, you know, the soils and the softness of the soils and the contamination of, a lot of it was bay mud fill. So all of those you know, challenges to overcome. But the first step was entering into this agreement to negotiate with the entity that wants to do the construction. And so they purchased the land lease from the former owner that had this ground land lease for that dentist office. And so that lease expires in 4 years. So we're entering into negotiations with them to look at extending that. It's kind of hard to spend millions of dollars building something when you're only going to have the rights to it for 4 years.
That's pretty tough,
So we're looking at what that lease might look like, how long we're going to extend it, and how much land they're actually going to have to build on. So, so that's all part of it. And so yeah, it's very exciting about the potential, though.
Well, it seems quite exciting. Now, you had shared a few things that kind of might pass by some of our viewers about the NLC that I knew about. Can you elaborate more? Because obviously that's part of your vision from conception to 24, really for our high school students. Can you, I mean, because both you and I were there in Texas. In November, we were there in Texas for the National League of Cities, and there's a whole youth conference within the Conference of the National League of Cities, where I think mayors and council members and several other public figures are in attendance. In fact, what was really exciting for me is we got a chance to see a couple of the presidential candidates speak to us, and then we got to see several high-profile artists there. It was very, very, very exciting for me. But can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so National League of Cities has two events every year. One is the City Summit, which was in San Antonio last November, which is the one you were referencing. And then we have the Congressional City Summit in Washington, D.C., which is coming up in the early part of March. And the National League of Cities has a youth delegate program that you know, allows young folks from all over the United States that are reside in member cities to participate in these programs. So they get to attend, they get to engage on a variety of subjects, whether it's, you know, racial equity or lowering the municipal voting age, which I would love to see that happen here, to
really
have
exciting.
Right to 16 years old. I mean, that I think would just really inspire our young folk to perhaps, I know they pay attention and I know they're engaged, but to actually be able to influence a decision within their own city, I think is so powerful. And if we can give them that power, how much better would our whole community be with that engagement and that participation and that decision making by our young people? So, so you know, it's those kinds of things that we get to expose them to, as well as they get to sit with and network with the young adults from all over the country, and the mayors and council members and from all over the country. I mean, we had some that were trying to recruit our youth delegates the last 2 times for internship opportunities in other states. So, you know, just giving them that exposure is powerful. And I'm just really excited about the Congressional Conference coming up.
Explain a little bit, because you said 2, and obviously the congressional one, that's coming up in March, correct?
Yes, yep. So we are sending a delegation. I think we're sending 10 students, 8 or 10 students, and
half of them are from Bethel, and the other half from Vallejo High School.
Vallejo
right?
High School, yes.
Okay.
And they will be, attending a variety of workshops to learn about, different issues and how they can engage and participate and influence these different types of issues that are affecting their own hometown. And they will also, we'll all be having dinner with Congressman Mike Thompson on March 9th. At his office, he'll be bringing lunch in and showing us around a little bit. So that'll be exciting. Yeah. So.
Wow. So one of the things that I remember at the conference, they really have focused on the reputation of Vallejo. Sometimes the reputation of Vallejo is perceived negatively, and they are really on a mission to change that. Not only from the word of mouth thing, but also from the things that are happening within downtown, really trying to work on reviving our downtown. We see a lot of business and commerce starting to come back here to Vallejo, and it's really exciting. And obviously with the work that you're doing, it just makes it even more exciting to go. But I think I think it'll be on the thing of February 11th. I think at what time again?
Yeah, at 7 o'clock.
February 11th, 7 o'clock at the City Council meeting. There, the students will present to the council about their experience and what they're looking forward to. Obviously, they have this theme of the reputation of Vallejo, and I think that can go a variety of ways where they can do great things. Now, here's the thing that I really worked with them about and just wanted you to know is that what can we do to sustain the momentum?
Yeah.
Not necessarily do the one-hit wonder things like, well, we'll just pick up trash at a school and we'll just do this.
Right.
Well, what can we do to continue to create an ongoing thing of pride? We traditionally have homecoming. We traditionally have a prom at the end of the year. We traditionally have these activities that we do. Well, let's create a new tradition to increase a positive reputation of what Vallejo is all about.
Yeah.
Because, one of the things that we see is like test scores. And test scores don't necessarily define us. In fact, one of the things that I've been talking to, like recently at the Lions Club and several other people, several other organizations here in Vallejo, is about, folks, our test scores do not reflect some of the things that our students are doing. Because let me share with you, over 100 students just from Bethel last year got accepted to four-year colleges.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, of the 400 students that were graduating from Bethel, more than half of them are going to college for junior college or a four-year college. That really means a lot. It means that our community, our district has prepared these students, and the ones that don't go are going into their vocational jobs. And usually it's not yet. We've done a great job of making sure that students are college and career ready.
Yes.
And sometimes you go to college first and then start your career. And sometimes you start your career and you learn more to go to college to go further in your career.
Right.
So what's really exciting is that those are the things that are happening. And what's really also exciting is that over the past couple of years, I've been able to hire a lot of our Vallejo graduates from Vallejo High School as well as Jesse Bethel.
Yeah.
So really kind of having those people give back to the community has been really exciting. But that ties into the next question I was going to ask you. What's your opinion about these test scores and what's the value of them? Because sometimes we have to caution ourselves, because outside communities, they see testing as the label of a community.
Sure. Yeah.
And sometimes it's not. But those are usually the first things that are said about that. What's your opinion? What do you think about that?
I know, and it's interesting. I mean, test scores are just one piece of the puzzle, but they are something that is looked at frequently. Like employers regularly, when they're looking at a new city that they may locate within, that's one of the first things they ask about is the schools and the test scores and just all of that kind of stuff. So that is a piece of the puzzle, but I think that it's certainly more than that. Like getting the word out about the acceptance rate and the average income earned by a graduate, how many years later? Like that all is important information that needs to be shared as well as job placement of recent graduates or former alumni. That all is really important information. Particularly right now, I mean, we have such a tight job market that the demand for millennials is so high, and those coming out of high school or college, we're just, even within our own organization, we're struggling to recruit and retain talent. So I think it's really great to be able to share those kinds of stories. You mentioned about youth, and we have these events, but what else can we do? So we also we used to have a youth commission. So we're trying to that was deauthorized a couple years ago, but we are looking at bringing that back, as well as, there was some ideas shared with our youth delegates last time about how other cities have youth council members on their council. So that would be really interesting to me, to have a youth representative on our council, on our dais, able to participate in those conversations. Perhaps they aren't able to vote, but they should be up there participating in the conversation to make better informed decisions. And I think that constant engagement will add to the ongoing value beyond just the events that we all celebrate.
Well, I think one of the things in some of the workshops that I went to, because I had some colleagues there, just like either administrators or educators, and we were talking about some things, because some of the public figures, I said, how can we get more of schools and students involved? And one of the things that I brought up was, and I've experienced this before, is sometimes when it's not that big of a council member meeting, to have the meeting actually at one of our school campuses. The other thing is like these commissions actually coming to the school and meeting during lunchtime, when our students have that time and are engaged to really do that. Now, again, that kind of conflicts with some of the other things that you do, like your job that pays for everything, that kind of thing. But
right.
I think the idea is that getting students where they're available, they're ready, because they've, just like everybody else, they've gone through this whole work day, and sometimes have practice and this, that, and the other thing, but why not get them in the middle of the day when they're having lunch?
Right, yeah.
And having that opportunity to get them to share input, and then visibility, I know, is a big thing for students. When they see you there, they just appreciate it.
Yeah.
And they want to know why you're there.
Yeah.
And then the more they see you there, the more excited they get, the better that they do on whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's an enthusiastic loop of just excitement that we can kind of generate. So yeah, it'd be really nice if that commission does come forward, but that doesn't mean that we can't be proactive in that. I know that both Vallejo High School and Jesse Bethel have their youth leadership organizations for associated student body, and they do a lot of activities, and they actually assign commissioners to do things like report to the school board. And that doesn't mean that they can assign commissioners to go report to city council.
Yeah,
that would be really nice if as long as there's a venue for them, or an opportunity for them to do that with your support, and and the mayor's. I don't think that should be a problem.
Yeah.
That could be the start. And one of the things is it builds our students' skills, their soft skills, their communication skills, the things that we really need, presentation skills that they really need to do. So when they get, it prepares them for the work world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it prepares them just to interact with people, because all of a sudden, they're interacting with everybody their age, and then all of a sudden different ages and different things are happening. So it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah,
I really think the connection that you have made, that several of the cities really showing that this focus is now really focused on our children to really move things forward here in Vallejo, and I think that's very exciting. Yeah. I'd like to invite you at the end of February to talk to our juniors who are taking the test in May.
Yeah, I would love
to give them a time and really kind of talk about. I know that Miss Katrina Rice, one of our teachers, is planning to talk to our students. I'd like for you to talk to our students so they can really get a broad perspective of how this affects our community and how we take pride in that. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that many of our students are not necessarily motivated. Many high school students, the older you get less motivated because there's no attachment. This doesn't give me a better grade. This doesn't give me this thing. Yes. I know a lot of teachers are now tying that to maybe if they do well on it, they can definitely reap the benefits of that.
Yeah.
But I think the intangible things that you can make tangible for them is by sharing with them how it affects our community and how it will lift our community.
Yeah.
But there was one thing that I think I shared with you earlier, the concern of, well, that's going to make our city so valuable and so wanting, then we're all going to get kicked out. And that's a worry that I think we all have. It's like, oh my gosh, it's going to increase the values of our homes, and we can't even afford the homes that we live in.
Yeah.
Do you have anything or response to that?
Yeah, so I mean, we're definitely, and that kind of is all around housing, right? And so we're working very hard right now to build a housing strategic plan. And so we have a variety of stakeholder committee meetings that we are holding all around that. Like, how do we keep our residents that we have now and help them invest in their own properties or help them buy their own properties here and keep them here, and then build more supply of housing of all different product types, all different income capabilities, so that sure, we're attracting new individuals as well, but not losing the people that we have, because that is, honestly, the people and the care they have and the pride they have in their city is what really drew me to Vallejo to begin with. So
when did you come to Vallejo?
I moved to the area when I was like 14 or 15, but I bought my first house and it was here in Vallejo in 2009.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
To see how it's grown too.
Yeah,
with all the depression of certain times, and now things are booming again, and it's really nice to be on that wave to keep it going, and interest rates are low, and people are buying homes, and it really is a really exciting time for all of us.
Yeah, it is.
So if you had a message for our listeners as well, and our viewers, specifically our students here at Jesse Bethel, and our recent alumni, because a lot of them are still here.
Yeah.
They're participating in commerce, they're participating in a whole bunch of things, they're getting ready, going to junior college and stuff. What would that message be for them?
Yeah, I would say that we as a council, we as a city, we see you students, and we see the recent graduates and the alumni that are here, and we are so proud of what you represent. You represent the best our community has, and we want you to know that we support you, and that perhaps we didn't do such a great job of that in the past, but like I said, we've made youth a priority in our council, and that is where our focus is going to be here going forward.
Well, I'll share with you that I shared at the last council meeting that I went to. At last year's graduation, I said there are good things that are happening in Vallejo, and I shared everybody that I was wrong, because great things are happening at Vallejo.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for coming today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
I just have a few announcements to make. Just as a reminder, this Saturday we'll be playing, Jesse Bethel will be playing Vallejo High School in boys and girls varsity basketball. It's very exciting. It'll be happening during the day. It's really exciting for that event. Several of our teams have made the playoffs, so next week there's going to be a whole bunch of playoffs. There's 2 upcoming events I want to share with you. On April 16th, the car show called Cars on the Quad. We'll be having that here at Jesse Bethel as a fundraiser for our Athletics Booster program. And then on April 28th, I think that's the last Saturday, or the 25th, I'll double check and make sure. In fact, I'll have it written down right here, for our second annual golf tournament. Again, it's a fundraiser for our athletics department, and all the proceeds go to our uniforms, to the gear that they use, from the helmets to the softball bats and everything in between. So we hope to have you there. We're really excited. And finally, I'm sharing with you, not only here at Jesse Bethel, but also at Vallejo High School, we have done a lot of work about gathering information about all the scholarships, specifically the scholarships that go unclaimed. So we have scholarships that we are providing to our students. We are looking for scholarships that we know that Vallejo students are eligible for. We are going to try and get as many scholarships as possible. So if you have those scholarships, or you know of scholarships that we can be eligible for our students, because sometimes that's one of the biggest barriers for a student to go to this 4-year college that they've been accepted to, is the cost, especially with tuition out of state. But I'll share with you, we've got excellent schools here in the state of California, but sometimes we have kids that want to go out of state and they need that support. So please help in regards to what you can do. But overall, I want to thank again for Council Member Pippin Dew coming and being my guest here at the Principal's Corner. And I want to thank all of you here on VCAT. And I just got approached by one of the viewers that said, I saw you on channel 27 and I really liked it and I watched it again. So there's a lot of information that both Ms. Dew and I have talked about. So feel free to watch this again and look forward to our upcoming episodes. And finally, let me share this with you. Happy Valentine's Day, because that'll be coming up in a couple Fridays. So if you don't have anybody to go with, find some friends and enjoy their time. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.